and Voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Gemechisa Mandida, for this hour's news. First, South Africa. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said the upcoming Group of G20 Leaders Summit in Johannesburg later this month will be a turning point for reforming the global financial system and addressing deepening inequality between nations. Speaking during a parliamentary session in Cape Town, Ramaphosa said South Africa's G20 presidency aims to foster a more stable, effective and resilient international financial architecture. He emphasized that one of the key outcomes expected from the summit is an agreement to strengthen multilateral development banks such as the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the African Union, and the African Development Bank, AfDB. These institutions must be empowered to play a greater role in helping developing countries to meet their sustainable development goals, Ramaphosa said, noting that the discussions will build on work started under Brazil's G20 presidency. The president added that the Johannesburg summit is also expected to make a political commitment to address debt vulnerabilities faced by low and middle-income countries. These vulnerabilities constrain their ability to reduce poverty, tackle inequality and invest in sustainable growth, he said. Ramaphosa highlighted that the leaders' declaration will likely reaffirm commitments to strengthen the G20 common framework for debt treatment in a predictable, timely and coordinated manner and encourage support for countries facing liquidity challenges despite maintaining sustainable debt levels. The Nigeria Immigration Service has announced plans to introduce a single travel emergency passport, a new biometric travel document designed to help Nigerians abroad whose passports are expired, lost or stolen return home securely and verifiably. The Comptroller General of Immigration, Kimi Nana Nandap, disclosed this during the joint thematic meeting of the Khartoum, Rabat and Niamey processes held in Abuja, which Nigeria co-hosted with the government of France. This is contained in a statement issued by the Service Public Relations Officer, SCI Akisola Akinlabi, on Wednesday. According to Nandap, the single travel emergency passport STEP will replace the current emergency travel certificate ETC as part of NIS's ongoing reform aimed at strengthening identity management and border governance framework in line with global best practices. The Comptroller General of Immigration CGI explained that the STEP will serve as a temporary travel document for Nigerians abroad whose passports are expired, lost or stolen, enabling them to return home in a secure and verifiable manner. She noted that the travel document will be issued at designated Nigerian embassies and consulates abroad and valid only for single entry, reinforcing the service's commitment to efficient service delivery and robust identity protection. The meeting brought together key stakeholders in migration management, including the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, ECOWAS, African Union, European Union, and representatives of African and European countries. President John Dramani Mahama has announced that Ghana's new Solar for Industries project will play a central role in driving the government's 24-hour economy initiative and boosting industrial growth. Speaking at the sock-cutting ceremony for the multi-purpose solar energy project, President Mahama said the new facility will deliver clean, stable and affordable electricity to power manufacturing and export zones across the country. He explained the initiative forms part of the government's broader plan to expand access to renewable energy and promote sustainable industrialization under the National Renewable Energy Master Plan. The project, he noted, is expected to help Ghana achieve a renewable energy share of at least 15% in the national energy mix. The solar industry project, powered by PAC Solar in partnership with Quam Investment, the International Finance Corporation, and with technical cooperation from the EPC contractors, who are Chinese, marks a significant shift towards renewable industrial energy. President Mahama said,
"The Solar for Industries project, developed by PAC Solar in partnership with Quam Investments, the International Finance Corporation, and with technical cooperation from the EPC contractors, who are Chinese, marks a significant shift towards renewable industrial energy. This facility will produce clean, stable, and affordable electricity dedicated to Ghana's manufacturing and export zones. And this is the core of our 24-hour economy and industrial recovery program."
According to the president, the project will provide dedicated power to key production areas, supporting the government's strategy to keep industries running around the clock. This facility will produce clean, stable and affordable electricity dedicated to Ghana's manufacturing and export zones, and this is the core of our 24-hour economy and our industrial recovery program, he stated.
This is Africa, the cradle of humanity, the frontier of the future, a land of visionaries, creators and pioneers, a continent of unstoppable energy where innovation meets tradition, where voices rise, loud and fearless.
I am an African.
This is the heartbeat of a billion people, diverse, bold, united by a single purpose: to tell our own stories in our own way. No borders, no barriers, no filters. A new era of African storytelling is here. From every corner of the continent, from the bustling cities to the quiet village, we tell Africa's story by Africans for the world. This is the land of a rising Africa, where Africa speaks and the world listens. This is why today we bring you POA, Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called on world leaders to show greater resolve in tackling the climate crisis as he opened a high-level summit in Brazil's Amazonian city of Belém. The two-day meeting, hosted under Brazil's presidency, brings together around 60 heads of state, climate negotiators and civil society representatives to accelerate efforts on emission cuts and climate finance for developing nations. Discussions are expected to center on concrete measures to phase out fossil fuels, expand renewable energy targets, and reinforce global commitments to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, a critical threshold to avoid the worst climate impacts. The centerpiece of the summit is the launch of the Tropical Forest Forever facility, a $125 billion initiative led by Brazil to protect and restore tropical forests across the Amazon, Congo Basin and Southeast Asia. Brazil has already pledged $1 billion with hopes that other countries and private investors will contribute. Guterres warned that the world stands on the edge of a climate abyss, urging immediate action and noting that the cost of inaction far exceeds the investments needed for a clean energy transition and protection of vulnerable ecosystems.
We need to move faster and move together. And this COP must ignite a decade of acceleration and delivery. The United Nations will not give up on the 1.5 degrees goal. Because another truth is evident. We have never been better equipped to fight back. A clean energy revolution has taken hold. Solar and wind are now the cheapest sources of power and the fastest growing sources of electricity in history. What is still missing is political courage. Let us be clear, the 1.5 degrees limit is a red line for humanity. It must be kept within reach. And scientists also tell us that this is still possible. If we act now at speed and scale, we can make the overshoot as small, as short and as safe as possible and bring temperatures back below 1.5 degrees Celsius before century's end.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva chairing the summit, said the gathering underscores the importance of inclusive and equitable solutions and reaffirms the Global South's leadership in shaping international climate policy. The Belém summit also sets the stage for the upcoming UN Climate Conference, COP31, where countries are expected to finalize new frameworks for climate finance and carbon markets. Moving to Angola, Angola has awarded Zambia's founding president Dr. Kenneth Kaunda the commemorative medal of the 50th anniversary of national independence in recognition of his pivotal support for Angola's liberation struggle. President João Lourenço presented the medal in the honor class during a special ceremony in Luanda ahead of Angola's Golden Jubilee independence celebrations on November 11. Accepting the award on behalf of the Kaunda family was Musata Kaunda. Zambia's ambassador to Angola, Dr. Elias Manisha, said the honor reaffirmed Dr. Kaunda's enduring legacy as a champion of Pan-Africanism and freedom. The recognition underscored the deep historical ties and shared commitment to peace and solidarity between Zambia and Angola. The African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat has launched the AFCFTA Tourism, Creative and Cultural Industries Forum and Festival to unlock the potential of Africa's creative economy and tourism sectors. Scheduled for November 24 to 26, 2025 in Accra, under the theme Creatives Connect Africa, the event will bring together policymakers, investors and creative entrepreneurs to strengthen intra-African trade in tourism and cultural services. The forum aims to harmonize policies, attract investment and promote Africa's film, music and fashion industry sectors that already generate billions in revenue and millions of jobs. The initiative will also offer capacity building for creatives, foster business partnerships and highlight Africa's cultural diversity, positioning the continent as a global hub for innovation and cultural expression. Moving to business news, an International Monetary Fund IMF mission led by Edouard Gemayel concluded a visit to Senegal after holding talks on a potential new IMF-supported program and reviewing progress on corrective measures related to the hidden debt case. The IMF said Senegal's economy remains resilient in 2025, supported by the start of oil and gas production and a recovery in agriculture. Growth is projected at 7.9%, with inflation expected to average 1.4%. The discussions focused on fiscal sustainability, debt management and governance reforms. The authorities were commended for their transparency and commitment to reform, though the IMF noted that significant challenges remain, particularly regarding elevated public debt estimated at 132% of GDP in 2024. The team welcomed progress in improving debt reporting and urged continued reforms to strengthen fiscal institutions and public financial integrity. The IMF said talks will continue in the coming weeks toward finalizing a new support program. Finally, 6 months after regaining its license, Elon Musk's Starlink is joining the Democratic Republic of Congo's $400 million nationwide broadband expansion plan. The project, backed by Kinshasa and MonacoSat, aims to improve internet access across the country. Starlink is in talks with major operators Africell and Vodacom to extend coverage, especially to areas unreachable by terrestrial networks. Despite the initiative, only about 30% of DRC's population had internet access in 2023, highlighting ongoing infrastructure and affordability challenges. Now let's check the current weather forecast. Before we wrap up, we would like to remind you of POA Roundup, which will run following the evening news today. Thanks for tuning and goodbye until next hour's news program.